How's it going, y'all? Um, I finally figured out how to edit videos somewhat and add a little intro and some music. If you don't like it, tell me about it. Comment below. Um, I actually got out and did some hunting this past weekend, and I went down to my family's land in Washington, Wilkes County. Wilkes County, if you're from there. But we went Saturday evening. I actually worked last Saturday, and when we got off, me and my wife and my family rode down there and got down there and decided I wanted to go for a little walk and just see what was moving around. And we got down there, hung out with the family for a little bit, and then wound up going on my walk like I wanted to. And me and my brother-in-law come around one of the old barns down there and come up to the field where the deer usually stay at, right there in the afternoons and evenings. And there was a couple of does that were 150 yards away, not far. I had the new Savage out there, the 6.5 Creedmoor. Wound up putting a bipod on it this past week as well. Just something to help me get steady. Hold on just a second. I may have a new star in the show if I can get the camera to stay still. This is the future of Swamp Militia right here. This is Wyatt. This is my boy. Wyatt turns a year old December 4th. Very soon coming up. He actually has a little bit of a runny nose right now, so he's not very happy. But you gonna smile at him? Tell him hey. Anyways, got out on the bipod and I watched these does for like 5 minutes. Wanted to make sure I had a real steady shot, a clean shot. I always do my best to make sure I have an ethical shot and there's no questions asked. Now, keep in mind, I shot my rifle about a week. I'm going to say a week, maybe a little bit longer, but shot my rifle like a week before I went down there, and it was dead on, and I was happy with the way it was sighted in. I knew I could hit a deer with it, and I got confident where I knew I could hit the deer if she just gave me a broadside shot. You know, like I said, I always wait for the best shot I can get. If I don't get it, I don't shoot it, honestly. I'm not the type of person who rushes things when I'm hunting. I'm not the type of person who says, hey, this might be my only chance. You know, I need to hurry up and shoot. You can ask Jamie. I hadn't killed a deer in like 2 years. Last year, I really wasn't meat hunting. I was more after kind of a trophy kind of deal, and I never saw anything I wanted. But this year I decided to uh, get a little meat in the freezer. But when she come broadside, I put it right in that sweet spot, you know, right there at the heart, and I just started easing on the trigger. And the shot went off, and I could tell by looking at the deer it was a miss. Didn't know how I missed. We went down and we searched for blood, searched for hair, didn't find anything. I literally searched for about 30 minutes. You gonna tell him, hey? Literally searched for like 30 minutes just to make sure there was no shadow of a doubt that I wounded that deer. I did not. I'm not the type of person to waste meat. I do not. I hate seeing something killed for sport unless it's coyotes, and that's not really for sport because they're a pest. They kill our turkeys. They kill our deer. We actually had a farmer message us up in North Georgia asking about coming up there and killing some coyotes off of his land. But anyways, back to the story. We searched forever, never found anything, so I finally decided, you know, hey, let's go shoot the rifle just to see if it was me or the rifle. And I don't usually miss. I'm not bragging, but I don't usually miss what I'm aiming at. I haven't missed a deer in probably 5 years. So we went up, got target set up. At 50 yards, my scope was a foot to the left. He wants to be in this video, so he's gonna be our guest show. No, you can't touch it. At 50 yards, my scope was hitting a foot to the left, and I was baffled. I still don't know how. What? You want to tell it? I still don't know how, and my scope wasn't hit, I mean, and it's supposed to be a shot-proof scope. It's a Vortex scope. I even called Vortex and talked to them about it, and they were confident it wasn't an issue with the scope. But I got it sighted in, and I put 3 shots into a 3/4 inch group at 100 yards, which I was satisfied with that just off of a bipod and a factory rifle. And I'm gonna get into something a little bit here in a minute after I finish the hunting story. But the next day, I told my brother-in-law, I said, let's go back down there and try it again. You know, I know the deer are going to come back in the same spot. They're not pressured down there, so something like that, you know, somebody that misses, it's not really a big deal to them. They hear stuff like that all the time. Are you going to beat me up? But anyways, uh, he really wants to tell this story. You can tell your stories when you start hunting. Anyways, so me and my brother-in-law come around the corner, same 2 does, same shot. They were about 200 yards away this time. I got down on the bipod and got as still as possible. I wanted it to be perfect. Like I wanted it to be a textbook shot. I controlled my breathing. You know, I wasn't excited because it was just a doe, you know, not much to get excited for other than some meat in the freezer. But she come to a broadside shot, and I just started easing on that trigger again. And let me tell you something. When that gun went off, I saw her through the scope. She jumped in the air, kicked her back legs out from under, and then kind of fell to the ground. And she actually got up, jumped a fence, and ran about 20 yards into the woods. She, about 50 yards total from where she was shot. Which, I thought that 6.5 would have knocked her in her tracks, quite honestly. I was shooting 125 grain, which ain't that big of a load. I usually shoot 140s out of it. But me and my brother-in-law walked down there to where we were close to knowing where she was shot. Same deal as the day before. Didn't find any blood, no hair, nothing to indicate the deer had been hit other than the visual I got of her jumping in the air and kicking her legs. So I said, I'm going to cross the fence, and I know I hit the deer. I told him that I would not accept me missing 2 days in a row. I actually told him if I missed 2 days in a row, I was going to give up hunting. But I crossed the fence. It's still on our property. There's fences all on the property down there. Anyways, crossed the fence, started finding very, very little blood. And I was so nervous. I mean, like I said, I made sure it was a good shot. I knew my rifle was where it was supposed to be. I was so nervous because we only found like drops, little tiny drops of blood to begin with. And I started thinking I might have hit her in the leg. Did I brisket shoot her? Did I gut shoot her? You know, my heart started racing. I started panicking a little bit because I was scared I had wounded a deer. I walked to the edge of the wood line where I thought I'd seen her go in. 10 foot up in the trees, there's blood sprayed everywhere. I mean, literally from the ground up, she is spraying blood. So I knew she had to be hitting the lungs there. So it was a big moment for me. A big, heavy weight come off my shoulders. I would literally, had I wounded the deer, I would have searched for her all night before I gave up. But I went into the woods about 20 yards, and there she was, laying dead. Clean. It was actually a really clean shot. Everybody that sees the picture says she's gut shot, but I didn't realize it at the time. She was quartered just a little bit, and the picture that everybody panics about is the exit wound. So it actually hit the deer in the front shoulder here, but the shot hit her at an angle and come out just in front of her rib cage. So, and when I started field dressing the deer, you know, gutting it, her heart was busted, her lungs were busted. That 6.5 did a number on her. Now, this is the point I want to make about your ammunition selection. Okay, just like I said, I'm a budget minded guy, but then I'm not a budget minded guy. You know, I don't like taking risk on cheap products just to see if they work. But I went to Walmart, redneck special. I went to Walmart and I bought the cheapest box of ammo they had just to see how it ran through the gun, see how it grouped, see what it did to a deer, the expansion, everything. Winchester X points, I believe they're called. Don't buy them. Unless you're target shooting, varmint shooting, whatever, yeah, I won't say don't buy them. They come apart. They separated in the deer. I like rounds that mushroom and do a lot of internal damage. I don't like it when they break off into teeny tiny pieces and you don't know what went where or how it damaged the deer or, you know, what its wound track is going to look like. But I know a lot of people, a lot of people I deal with actually, they go to Walmart and say, "Oh, give me the cheapest box of 270 that you got. Go, give me the cheapest box of 30-06 that you got." Don't do this. If and I know it's hard for some people, you know, you love to go hunting, but also you're on a budget. I understand, believe me, you know. You saw my son right there. I'm on a very tight budget. When you go hunting, you're not just going if you're doing it for the right reasons. You're not just going to kill something. There's a reason, and my dad taught me this growing up. I used to get so discouraged when I was going hunting. I never killed anything, never saw anything. He said, "Son, they call it hunting. They don't call it killing." Same thing with fishing. He said they call it fishing. They don't call it catching. Okay? So when you go in these woods and you have the cheapest everything you can buy, all right, there's always a chance and there's always a risk that you're going to wound an animal that I mean, and I very could have Saturday when my rifle was off. Always shoot your rifle. It's one round to make sure your rifle is zero. You know, it was my mistake. I'll never do it again. From now on, when I go hunting, I will shoot my rifle immediately before the hunt to make sure it is zero. I could have very well wounded that animal and never found her, wasted a life, and wasted meat. So, from now on, I learned a very valuable lesson. Shoot your rifle, know where it's at. And if you're going to take long shots, shoot your rifle beforehand at those ranges and know where your hit is, where you need to compensate for, how far those rounds are. I think $18 a box at Walmart for 20 rounds. Spend a little bit more, get some good ammo, get Hornady, get I'm not gonna name brands. I'm not really trying to promote people here, but get something is gonna get the job done. Get something that you can be confident in, and yeah, sometimes it costs a little bit more, but it's worth it knowing that one, you're putting meat on the table. Two, you're not wasting a life or meat, and also when you cheap out on stuff, your personal safety can also come into it. If you use cheap ammo and you have like a squib load or something like that, and you have a bullet stuck in your barrel and you fire a second shot, your barrel blows up in your face. You know, your own personal safety also comes into effect when you cheap out on stuff. If you buy a cheap knife to skin your deer or field dress your deer, and the lock doesn't work right on it, and you wind up cutting into your finger or what Lord knows what else, you know, buy once, cry once. I'm not, I'm not always a good example of that, but go ahead and spend the money the first time and know it's going to be right. Especially when and like I said, if you're going out there plinking and you're going out there target shooting stuff like that, you're not really worried about groups or data loads or anything like that. Yeah, buy the cheapest box they got. Unless you're worried about squib loads. No, read reviews on the ammo before you buy it. Read reviews on everything. There's the internet out there for a reason. There's YouTube out there for a reason. That's right. Right now, I'm trying to not only do something I like to do, but also I'm trying to bring y'all knowledge, or not knowledge. Let me rephrase that. I'm trying to bring you my experience. And you don't have to take my word for it. That's the biggest thing. A lot of guys out there say, "Oh, don't use this, don't do that, don't do this." They sound like know-it-alls. I'm not trying to sound like a know-it-all. If I am, please correct me. But if y'all will comment and tell me something you want me to try, I've said this before, but if you tell me something you want me to try, I will. and I'll let you know what I think of it. Now, don't take my word to heart and don't quote me on it. I'm just going to give you my experience and what I perceived through the experiment. If something was crap, I'm going to tell you it was crap. If something's amazing product, I'm going to get on here and tell you about it. But anyways, I just want to share my little story with y'all. It was a very eventful weekend. Sorry I didn't get it on film. It was a very quick, hey, let's go hunting kind of deal. The GoPro wasn't even actually charged, so I will upload some pictures so that y'all can see that there was proof. But anyways, y'all be good. Like, subscribe, put us out there, please, and we'll give you a shout out next time. Y'all be good, Swamp Militia.